Hello, Crochet Cousins. Welcome to the Get Cozi podcast. I'm your host, Alea Young. So get a snack, get a drink, get a project, and get cozy while we talk about finger crocheting. Have you ever heard of finger crocheting? Well, I didn't until I saw this TikTok video of somebody literally crocheting with their phalanges. So let's go ahead and look into the video that I saw on my For You page.
Next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that. Oh, yes, they would.
All right, so I don't know if you caught that, but she literally was. I don't even know. I sat there and watched this video over and over and over again to try to figure out exactly like what she was doing, but my brain just couldn't comprehend. So I looked at more videos on her TikToks, and not only is she finger crocheting, but she's finger crocheting garments. Let's go ahead and take a look.
You sit home and you sew and you pretend to do things.
What's wrong with myself?
And there's so much more. So I looked at all of her stuff on Instagram. I went on her website and looked at all the stuff that she makes. She even has classes on how to hand crochet. Now, y'all know me. I love my crochet hooks, okay? And I couldn't, it's like, I thought I saw it all. I thought I saw it all. Hand crocheting? It's not even hand crocheting, because when I think of hand crocheting, I'm thinking of using like the big giant bulky yarn and like actually crocheting with your hands. This is finger crocheting because she's only using her fingers, not her whole hand. You know, like some people do like hand knitting with those big giant chunky yarns to make like the big giant blankets, right? I personally don't like doing that because sensory issues, so I've always used like a really big size 25mm crochet hook to do those types of blankets. And even then, I don't even like doing those blankets, but I know I've seen videos of people like hand crocheting those big giant blankets, but I've never seen somebody, and it's only been blankets, right? I've never seen somebody finger crochet a whole entire garment. And the thing about garments and the garment construction is like, it's not just a flat square, right? There's curves, there's three-dimensional aspects that you have to know how to do, literally making something 2D into something kind of 3D. It's so crazy that she's able to accomplish those aspects of design without a crochet hook. Like I when I say I spent like an hour just looking at how her fingers work, so I reached out to her and I was like, hey, is it okay if I use your videos in my podcast episode? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. Actually, I am free for interviews. So I got her on an interview. So guys, look at me. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a warm welcome to our cozy cousin, Katarina, the Crochet Queen. Hello, Miss Katarina. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, so take us back to the beginning of you learning how to crochet with your fingertips.
It's not even a super exciting story. I don't remember exactly how old I was. I think I was like 7. And I was really annoying my mom, and she's like, okay, shut up, I'm going to teach you something, and this is going to keep you entertained. And that's kind of how I learned to crochet.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really take it seriously and start getting good at it until I was like 11.
So your mom was like, I'm going to hand down this technique to you. So your mom never used crochet hook?
No, she didn't.
Okay, so who taught her how to crochet?
That's a good question. She never told me.
All right, so it seems like either she came up with this technique or somebody showed her, and then she showed you, and now you're showing everybody else, which I think is amazing. And you said you've never used a crochet hook either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever thought of using a crochet hook?
Honestly, no, because it's like, okay, so I'm born left-handed, so it's like I never thought to use my right hand. I kind of look at it the same way, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would assume, as for my mother, I would assume that maybe my grandma taught her.
Okay.
But she also used to make jewelry. She did hair. She was sewing.
Mm-hmm.
She did a lot of stuff with her hands, so she was better than me. But I went a lot further with the crochet than she did. She was a lot better when it came to jewelry.
Okay, so it just seems like being creative is like passed down in your generation. That's cool. Oh yeah, I know. I feel like most people who know how to do some type of beadwork or do jewelry,
Uh-huh.
like they also know how to crochet. When it comes to your garments that you make, I see that you have like
Uh-huh.
bralettes, and I saw a halter top.
Uh-huh.
What type of math do you do to be able to make stuff like that? Because in regular crochet, there's like certain dimensions that we have to do, especially when it comes to being size inclusive. But for you, is it just all visual? Like, is there any type of planning that you do beforehand, or special planning that you do
Um,
beforehand before you
so
start making them?
okay, so if somebody orders something, I'm gonna ask them their bra size and their dress size, and I'll make it according to that. But if I'm just like making something for fun, I'm gonna make it to the measurements of my mannequin.
Okay.
That's about it. I do have projects that I just get bored and I like to experiment. I'll just do that to the size of my mannequin. Yeah, if someone orders something, I can work with just about any size. I do the math from their dress size. I Google the measurements, the cup size, and I work from there.
Okay. What else do you make? Cause I know you make scrunchies.
I get paid mostly to make clothing, but I can make stuffed animals. I can do blankets. I can do a lot of stuff. I started working with kids and animals, but as time went on, I realized I wasn't as popular. Kids grow too much.
Mm.
It takes a lot of effort. You don't want to constantly be crocheting something new. And the animals are adorable, but it's not as popular. So I just switched to teenagers and adults, and that's mostly what I make now. I make mostly clothes for young girls.
How long does it take you to make like like your most bought top or something?
Let's say I can finish a bikini. I would say, let's say I can finish a double D bikini in like 2 days.
Wow.
And for like a halter top, let's say just a size medium, I can do that in 2 days. I could do it in one day, but I like to take breaks.
Mhm.
Most of the tops I make, I can finish within 3 days or less.
Okay.
If it's a dress, it's going to be more than a week, but I don't really do dresses often.
Okay. That's it still blows my mind because it takes me like 2 weeks to finish something, right?
Oh,
And I have a crochet hook, so I'm like, do I need to learn how to do I need to learn how to crochet with my hands? Because
that's funny to me that you said that, because the people that give me a hard time in my comments, they always tell me you would be so much faster if you use a hook. I'm like, do you know I could if I would sit down for 8 hours, I could finish this top in one day. I never
yeah.
felt the need to pick up a hook.
And when people make things with their fingers, like I see a lot of people make, like they'll hand knit a blanket or they'll hand crochet a blanket with chunky yarn. It's a very loose tension, and it's very like
Yeah.
flowy. But the fabric on yours, from what I see, it looks very solid. Like there's no gaps, there's no baggage.
Yeah, I have really good tension and I'm able to pull it tight. But the thing with me is I don't understand technical terms of crochet. Like
Mm.
my mom taught me, I don't know how to read patterns. I don't know how to write them. So a
Uh-huh.
lot of people ask me, they get frustrated. Can you write a pattern? I don't know how. I didn't know what a granny square was. So like a lot of the terms that I hear from majority of crocheters, I don't understand it.
Okay.
I work 100% visual. Like if you order something from me, it's like send me a picture and I can make that, but I can't explain it the same way as a crocheter that uses books. That's not how I learned, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was gonna be my second thing, was asking, like, have you ever made like a granny square using your technique? Because I can't imagine. I can't. Well, I'm thinking about it logistically, because it seems like most of your stuff you're using like the single crochet
Uh-huh.
method, right? So like, what other stitches or stitch patterns, if you know any, could you do using hand crochet?
I mean, I can do different techniques. That's just I don't know what they're called. I just say I know how to do different stitches and techniques.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure I could do a granny square, and I have experimented with a lot of stuff. Like if you look at some of my halter tops, how they like become puffy or curly. That's me
Mm-hmm.
experimenting with different stitches to make it look a certain way. I know how to do small details. I know how to put a crochet flower or a heart on it.
Mm-hmm. I would say like I'm a crochet geek, when it comes to stuff like this, and just kind of like whenever I see somebody that does something different than me, instead of getting mad like most people do on the internet, I'm like, well,
Oh yeah,
that's
it's
so
so annoying.
interesting. Yeah.
I was not expecting the response that I was getting, like from the. I didn't think people would be so aggressive about like crochets. Like, and
You would be
some
surprised.
people are mad. Some people are so mad.
You would be surprised. I feel like in general, if you are doing something different and they don't know how to do it, they're like, wait, you're doing it wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't quite understand where you're coming from. But me, I'm more intrigued. I'm like, I need to know how to, how is this possible? It was more fascinating to me than anything. And I sat there with some yarn trying to figure it out, and I'm like, yeah, no, I can't. What it looks like you're doing is like after you tighten the stitch, you go through, kind of like open up the stitch beside it and then feed the yarn through,
Exactly, that's what I'm doing.
and then you loop it through.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm doing.
And then the way you do it is so fast. I was like, how is she doing it? Like, I've seen some people crochet really, really fast, and then I understand what they're doing, but for you, I had to really sit there and think, like, how is that even possible?
For me, it's repetitive. I've been doing it for years. It's the second nature. I don't even watch it when I do it. I only watch it. Like, people are like, are you watching what you're doing? I'm like, no. And I always see the jokes about crocheters complaining about black yarn. I never understood that because I'm like, I don't watch what I'm doing. It's like muscle memory for me.
So how long have you been crocheting?
I'm 27, so almost 20 years.
Wow. We've seen mainly tops, and we've seen scrunchies from you on your website. What other patterns or things do you offer to your customers?
Okay, so I offer lessons.
Uh-huh.
I mostly offer lessons and I offer items.
Mm-hmm.
I give people advice all the time for free, though. But I can crochet just about anything. Send me a photo and I'll tell you honestly, I can do that. Or I don't feel comfortable doing that. But I was always curious, since I never used them, how much do crochet hooks usually cost? I assumed they were cheap.
So for the crochet hooks that I use, they range, which are Furls crochet hooks. They range from upwards to $100 to, depending on the sale, like $12. But in the mid range, they're about $26. The ones that I use, which is the Furl Streamline crochet hooks, I have none with me. You would think I would have one at my desk.
Interesting. I would assume they'd be super cheap.
Yeah, so you can buy crochet hooks that are cheaper, that are like $1 and some change. It really depends on where you want to start. If you want to start, I think you don't need your work is pretty good without the crochet hook.
It would only be out of my pure own curiosity, but I don't really have an interest in using crochet hooks than just to try it.
Yeah,
That's about it.
I might have to send you some yarn and a crochet hook just so you can see if you like it.
You know what? You do it, I'll try it. I accept the challenge.
I might just have to do that, and then we'll come back later on, have you back on, and see what that, or yeah,
watch some videos and see how it goes.
Yeah, we might have to.
Look, she sent me a hook. Let me make myself look stupid.
Yeah, I might have to, because I got stuff everywhere, so I might have to just send you some, and you play around with it. Is there anything else that you would like people to know about you?
As I said, my name is Katharina. I'm 27. I have cystic fibrosis. Support Black business. And I wanted to also mention my wonderful manager who helps me through all of this. Her name is Vildana Hernic. She's in Bosnia. She designed my logo. As I said, she kind of works as my manager. She helps me with a lot of this. She's amazing. And she was super happy to hear about this. Her marketing agency is called Bold It. So I just wanted to mention her because I've been calling myself the Crochet Queen for a while. Mm-hmm. But she was able to put everything into, real pictures. So
okay.
I got all my nice banners and stuff.
Yes, your marketing looks very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. So, do you do crochet full time?
Yes, I'm trying to. That's what I want to do.
I feel like that's the dream, right?
That's the goal. If you look at my crochet videos, I've been doing this for only about 6 months. My older videos were not crochet related, so.
Oh, okay. So 6 months you've been trying to make this a full-time thing.
And I've had very good progress and attention for someone that's doing this for less than a year.
I would agree, because you have a lot of people talking about you on TikTok.
Yeah, people
Like,
are going crazy on there. They're going crazy on Facebook and Instagram as well. I'm in shock myself. I'm like, it hasn't even been a year because I was working as an English teacher and I was living abroad in Europe. So my older videos, that was about me teaching in Europe, and then I slowly switched.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, look at this, look at these people. So I just switched my genre, and slowly it picked up because when I made my European videos, I had 2,000 followers, and overnight, you know, I got big bunches of people all coming at me. People wanting to do interviews. It's amazing.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, it's something that the community has never seen before. It's always good to be different. In a sea of people who think that they're different, it's always good to actually be different, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, guys. So make sure you give Katarina a like, a follow on all her platforms. I will link them down below so you guys can get to know her and get to know this new way of crocheting. I want to know down below in the comments, would you ever finger crochet? Do you find this interesting? Because I find it so fascinating that this is a thing. I never knew that this was a thing. How can somebody crochet without a hook? Is it even considered crocheting? But art is art. The craft is a craft. And if she says it's crocheting, then it's crocheting, okay? I just love her mind and how it works. And I really am fascinated to see if she will ever decide to use a crochet hook. You know how some people are like used to doing something one way for a very long time. And then when they like figure out that there's another way to do it, they just prefer the way that they originally learned how. So I'm really interested to see if she is going to use a hook or learn how to use a hook. But yeah, guys, I want to know what you think down below in the comments. Like I said, make sure to give Miss Katarina some love in the comments. And that's gonna be it for this episode of the podcast. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, create something gorgeous. Bye, guys.